Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases.
And today's material is actually drawn directly from a really brilliant SpeakDuo lesson. It's called the Royal Vocabulary, Lessons from Edward VII.
Exactly. And, before we jump into that, just a quick reminder for you listening, you can actually go to SpeakDuo.com to meet new people from all around the world who are, practicing English on video calls.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic way to become more confident with your English speaking abilities, in real time.
For sure. But we are diving straight into the deep end today.
Oh, absolutely. No fluff today.
Yeah.
I mean, this deep dive is strictly dedicated to helping advanced English learners master nuanced idioms and phrases.
Right, because we want that vocabulary that takes you from just being, structurally fluent to sounding completely natural.
Yeah, commanding and native, really.
So let's unpack this, because what we're really talking about today is kind of a survival guide to the modern workplace, right?
Totally. And how you articulate that experience.
Right, like if you are explaining a massive challenge to your boss, or maybe you're sitting in an IELTS Speaking Part 2 exam trying to describe a situation that went horribly wrong.
Yeah, basic vocabulary just doesn't capture the intensity of reality there.
Exactly, which is why our first phrase is so important. It's stark, staring mad.
It is a brilliantly vivid phrase. I mean, when someone is stark, staring mad, they are completely crazy with anger or frustration.
Like just irrationally upset.
Right. But, I mean, the nuance is key here.
Well, yeah, I have to ask, because a lot of advanced learners might just default to, oh, I was really angry, or I was absolutely furious.
Yeah, that's super common.
So what is the mechanical difference here?
So furious is really just an emotional state. It's a high level of anger, sure, but you might still be calculating or articulate.
Okay, I see.
But stark staring mad implies a total loss of rationality.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a psychological short circuit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not just that you are mad. It's that your executive function has basically shut down. You've crossed the line from rational anger into a state where you are literally staring blankly because your brain cannot process the level of frustration.
Oh, man, I've absolutely been there. I mean, the SpeakDuo source brings up the example of misplacing your passport the night before a huge international trip.
Oh, worst.
Right. You don't just feel annoyed. You are, tearing your room apart, tossing clothes everywhere. You can't even think straight enough to remember where you last saw it.
Exactly. You are stark, staring mad until you finally find it under a pile of mail or something.
Yeah, totally.
Or imagine an IELTS scenario where you need to describe a time a project failed. Like, imagine a total technology collapse right before a critical meeting.
Oh, terrifying.
Yeah. You'd say, when the presentation screen went permanently black and I realized my backup drive was corrupt, I felt stark, staring mad.
It perfectly captures that specific flavor of panic, doesn't it?
It really does.
But ideally, you don't stay in that state. Which brings us to kind of the psychological counterweight to panic. To keep your head.
Right, meaning to remain calm and think clearly during a highly stressful or genuinely dangerous situation.
Now, wait, I can hear you listening and thinking, isn't that just a fancy way to say stay calm?
Yeah, and that is exactly the trap many learners fall into. Let's look at the psychology behind the words.
Okay.
So stay calm is an internal, almost passive state. But keeping your head implies an active, deliberate fight against an external environment of total chaos.
Oh, so it's reactionary.
Exactly. It paints a picture where everyone around you is losing their heads. Like they're panicking, they're stark staring mad, but you are actively retaining your faculties.
That makes you the hero of the moment rather than just a passive bystander.
Totally.
So if I'm role-playing conversation with my boss and I want to praise a colleague, I wouldn't just say, oh, Sarah was calm when the client yelled.
Right. That sounds a bit flat.
Yeah. I'd say the client was furious and the technology completely failed, but Sarah really kept her head. She just seamlessly switched the printed handouts and saved the deal.
Perfect. I mean, it really highlights her agency. She resisted the gravitational pull of the panic.
Absolutely.
But of course, the workplace isn't always a high adrenaline crisis, right?
True, unfortunately.
Sometimes the threat is exactly the opposite, which requires our next absolute phrase, which is bored stiff.
Oh, man. I feel a physical reaction just hearing that phrase. Bored stiff means extremely bored, having absolutely no interest or stimulation at all.
Right.
Like the source material gives the example of enduring a 3-hour lecture with no breaks and no audience interaction.
Yeah, brutal. And again, notice the difference between this and simply saying, oh, I was uninterested.
Yeah, what's the shift there?
Well, uninterested is just a mental classification. You see a topic, you don't care about it. That's it. But bored stiff brings in powerful physical imagery. It evokes the literal feeling of muscular rigidity. You're trapped in a chair, and during an agonizingly long event where you basically can't even move.
So the boredom is so heavy it practically paralyzes you.
Exactly.
Like you're stuck in a notoriously long legal compliance presentation at work. Your eyes are glazing over. Your posture is just locked in place because it would be rude to stretch. You are literally bored stiff.
Precisely. And, whether a situation is making you stark staring mad or leaving you bored stiff, eventually someone in the room has to put a stop to it.
Right, meaning to decisively end an activity or prevent something from continuing.
Yeah.
But let me push back here for a second. Why use 4 words when one will do? Like, why not just say, we need to stop this noise instead of we need to put a stop to this noise?
That's a great question. It's because language is about power dynamics.
Okay, how so?
Well, if you tell your team to stop the noise, it sounds like a simple, almost pleading request.
Right, like you're just asking a favor.
Exactly. But when you say you will put a stop to something, you are invoking authority. It's a definitive intervention.
Yeah, I like that.
The phrase basically communicates, I have the power, the jurisdiction, and the resolve to halt this ongoing issue permanently.
Wow. So it's the verbal equivalent of slamming a gavel on a desk.
Yes, exactly.
So a manager doesn't just stop a habit of late deliveries.
Yeah.
They put a stop to it.
Right. Or, for an IELTS candidate talking about personal growth, they might say, I realized checking my phone at 2 in the morning was ruining my focus, so I finally put a stop to it.
Oh, I see. It shows incredible personal command.
Which is exactly how you want to present yourself, right?
Definitely. And once you've put a stop to the bad habits, you need the vocabulary to describe how you actually execute your work.
Yeah, totally.
Which shifts us perfectly into strategic action and timing. So let's examine the phrase, the small hours.
Right. Which means the very early hours of the morning, just after midnight.
Yeah. But if you simply tell someone you were working late at night, it sounds, I don't know, functional, almost mundane.
Exactly. But the small hours is actually quite poetic. It emphasizes the intense isolation of that time.
Yeah.
It's the time when the rest of the world is completely asleep, and it's just you and the work.
It totally changes how your effort is perceived, doesn't it?
100%.
Because if I tell my colleagues, oh, we work late, it kind of sounds like a complaint. But if I say, my teammates and I worked into the small hours to finish the financial report on deadline, it sounds noble.
Yeah, it paints this cinematic picture of you guys huddled over glowing laptops in a dark, empty office building.
Exactly. It adds scale and drama to your dedication.
It really does.
Now, why would someone willingly work into the small hours?
Well, usually it's because they have a vested interest.
Right. A strong personal reason to want a particular outcome, often because of a direct benefit or gain.
Yeah.
But how do we distinguish a vested interest from just being, highly interested in a project?
Okay, so it's the difference between being an observer and being an investor. A vested interest means you have real skin in the game.
Oh, okay. Skin in the game.
Yeah. It's not just intellectual curiosity. It means your own departmental funding, your job security, or your personal reputation is directly on the line, depending on the outcome.
Got it. So if I'm explaining office politics to a new hire, I could say, we really need David on this committee. Since it directly impacts his department's operational budget, he has a vested interest in making sure we find the most cost-effective solution.
Exactly. His engagement is basically guaranteed because his own survival depends on it.
Right. And when someone has a vested interest, they are usually the ones who will see fit to make the difficult decisions.
Yeah, see fit to.
Yeah.
Which means to decide that it is appropriate or necessary to take a certain action.
This one feels really formal, right?
It is. It's a phrase dripping with formal judgment. Just contrast this with basic verbs like choose or decide.
Okay.
Like you don't see fit to grab a coffee. You see fit to alter a corporate strategy.
Ah.
It implies that you weighed the options, consulted your own authority, and passed down a ruling.
Oh, I love that. So in an IELTS exam, if the examiner asks about a time your plans unexpectedly changed, you could elevate your answer by saying, when all the regional trains were canceled due to the storm, I saw fit to change my travel plans at the last minute and secure a hotel.
Yes. Or the executive committee saw fit to postpone the event. It just makes you sound deliberate and highly competent.
It really does. However, wielding that kind of authority requires some finesse, doesn't it?
It does. And when someone lacks that finesse, we describe them as heavy-handed.
Right. Heavy-handed meaning too forceful or clumsy when handling a sensitive situation, or just severely lacking subtlety.
Yeah, and a lot of learners confuse heavy-handed with being strict.
No, interesting. What's the difference?
Well, a strict manager is just someone with clear, unbending rules. But a heavy-handed manager is someone who uses a chainsaw to prune a delicate bonsai tree.
Oh, wow. What an image.
Right. The intention might be right to trim the tree, but the execution destroys the entire thing because they completely lack emotional intelligence.
That is a fantastic way to look at it. So you might be venting to a colleague by the coffee machine, saying, "Did you see how the new director handled that performance feedback session?" His heavy-handed approach to minor criticisms just made the whole team incredibly defensive.
Exactly. The collateral damage was way worse than the original problem.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which brings us perfectly to the realm of social dynamics and office politics, I think.
Oh, definitely. Navigating your career requires you to constantly read the room.
So let's look at the adjective straight-laced.
Yeah, straight-laced. It refers to someone very strict in their behavior, actively avoiding anything seen as improper or playful.
But wait, isn't that just being professional?
Well, the nuance here is crucial. Being professional is a positive trait, but being straight-laced implies an extreme, almost uncomfortable rigidness.
Oh, I see.
It's someone wound so tightly by rules and decorum that they literally cannot relax or allow casual bonding to happen.
Man, that sounds exhausting. And when you have someone incredibly straight-laced at an informal event, it creates a ripple effect, right?
Yes, it often causes others to skulk in corners.
Right, which means to hide or move about quietly to avoid being noticed.
And notice the physical imagery of skulking here. It's entirely different from just standing alone.
Because standing alone is just neutral.
Exactly. Skulking implies a secretive, highly avoidant, almost guilty physical posture. You are actively trying to blend into the wallpaper.
Oh, I can picture this exact dynamic. Imagine the annual office holiday party. You have a senior vice president who is far too straight-laced to join in any of the casual conversations.
Yeah.
And their severe attitude causes the shy new hires to just skulk in the corners by the snack table all night, desperately trying to avoid making eye contact.
It's a very uncomfortable social ecosystem for sure. But, if those social bonds fracture or a conflict occurs, advanced speakers don't just apologize.
What do they do?
They focus on healing the breach.
Healing the breach, meaning trying to repair a damaged relationship and restore friendly relations.
Right. Because an apology is honestly a one-sided transaction. Healing a breach uses the architectural metaphor of a broken wall or a ruptured dam.
Oh, I love the visual of that.
Yeah, it implies a mutual foundational effort to fix a deep and structural divide between two parties.
So an IELTS answer about overcoming an interpersonal challenge sounds incredibly mature if you say, "We had a terrible argument over the project direction, but after a week, I invited my colleague for coffee with the express aim of healing the breach."
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And maybe, to break the ice during that coffee, you bring out your party piece.
Oh, right. A party piece. A special trick, a funny story, or a unique skill someone performs specifically to entertain others.
Yeah.
But how does that differ from just having a talent? Like if I'm really good at the guitar, is that my party piece?
Well, only if you use it in a specific way.
Mhm.
A talent is general. A party piece is a reliable, highly rehearsed social tool.
Oh,
It's that one hilarious, self-deprecating travel story you always tell to ease tension. Or a quick magic trick you pull out to get new clients smiling. It serves a calculated social function.
that makes total sense. Okay, let's look at the ultimate goal here. You've managed the stress, you've survived the office politics, and now it's time to describe your ultimate success.
The best part.
Yeah, let's look at in your own right and outdo us all.
So in your own right means achieving something strictly because of your own abilities, not because of your connections, your wealth, or your team.
It is the ultimate expression of independent validation then. Your success is entirely self-generated.
Exactly.
So I might playfully brag to my boss about a junior employee. Like, Sarah used to just ride the coattails of the senior team, but she managed to outdo us all with that brilliant creative solution. She's really earned our respect in her own right.
And pay attention to the nuance of outdo us all there. It's far stronger than just doing a good job.
Because it implies beating everyone else?
Yeah, and it contains a built-in element of surprise. It means she didn't just meet the baseline expectations, she completely shattered them and made everyone else's work look kind of average by comparison.
Wow, okay. Which brings us to our final phrase before we test your knowledge, icing on the cake.
Yes. A pleasant extra that makes a good situation even better, though not essential.
So how is this different from just a bonus?
Well, contrast this with receiving a bonus. A bonus is just an extra item. Icing on the cake implies that the foundational situation was already 100% satisfying on its own.
Oh, like the cake was already baked and delicious.
Exactly. The icing is purely delightful, but completely unneeded for the event to be a success.
Okay, I get it. Getting the promotion to regional director was an incredible cake. But the team throwing a surprise celebration dinner for me, that was just the icing on the cake.
Beautifully articulated.
Thanks. All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. It is time for the quiz. We are going to test exactly how well your brain has absorbed these nuances.
I love this part.
Yeah. So I will read a question and three options. Option A, option B, and option C. Some of these options might use literal traps, which is actually very common in advanced English testing.
Oh, for sure. You have to be careful.
Right. And I'll tell you when to pause the audio so you can lock in your answer before the expert reveals it. Ready? Let's go.
But good luck.
Question 1. Which sentence uses the idiomatic phrase stark staring mad correctly based on context? Option A, the highly advanced portrait photography studio specialized in capturing people's stark staring mad look.
Okay, that's A.
Right. Option B, the deeply frustrated young retail clerk aggressively managed to completely drop a white pad. And option C, after losing his critical baseline project files twice, he felt completely stark staring mad. Feel free to pause the audio here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option C. Remember, stark staring mad refers to that total psychological short circuit and loss of rational control due to intense frustration, exactly like the feeling of losing your project files right before a deadline.
Awesome. Moving to question 2. Select the context where the phrase the small hours is most appropriately used. Option A, reviewing those highly complex financial reports forced our analytics team into the small hours.
Interesting one.
Yeah. Option B, the highly experienced master mechanical architect carefully calculated exactly 60 tiny of the small hours. Or option C, the incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly buy some small flowers. Takes a second to pause the audio if you need a moment to choose.
And the correct answer is option A. Don't fall for the literal traps in B and C. The small hours is that poetic phrase for working late into the night, past midnight when the rest of the world is asleep, which really showcases your team's profound dedication.
Spot on. Question 3. In which situation does someone accurately utilize the advanced adjective heavy-handed figuratively? Option A, the professional weightlifting competition judges carefully measured his massive, muscular, heavy-handed alignment today.
Oh, that's a tricky trap.
Yeah. Really. Option B, applying that highly aggressive, heavy-handed management strategy discouraged our operational team members completely. And option C, the completely terrified young wilderness traveler unexpectedly noticed an exceptionally massive, heavy wooden chest. Pause this deep dive right here to think about your answer.
The correct answer is option B. Just like the analogy of using a chainsaw to prune a delicate bonsai tree, a heavy-handed management strategy lacks subtlety and emotional intelligence, which naturally discourages a team.
Question 4. Which response best demonstrates the advanced phrase icing on the cake figurines? Let's just say phrasing there. Option A, securing that corporate promotion was great and getting a company vehicle was icing on the cake.
Got it.
Option B, the professional bakery kitchen chef carefully spread thick vanilla sugar icing on the cake. Or option C, the incredibly clumsy warehouse inventory clerk accidentally managed to quickly catch that white lake. Feel free to pause the playback here if you need to lock in your guess.
The correct answer is option A. We are looking for the figurative use, not the literal baking use in option B. It's a pleasant, unnecessary extra, like the company vehicle, on top of a situation that was already incredibly satisfying, like the promotion itself.
Question 5. How would a professional accurately use the absolute phrase board stiff contextually? Option A, the industrial carpentry machinery automatically drilled every single long matching wooden board stiff today.
Another literal trap.
Yep. Option B, the completely confused amateur theater group unexpectedly decided to proudly paint a clean cliff. Or option C, listening to that incredibly long and highly repetitive legal presentation left everyone completely bored stiff. Go ahead and pause the audio now if you need to review those options.
The correct answer is option C. Think back to that profound physical rigidity we discussed, basically enduring a totally unstimulating presentation where your boredom is so heavy you literally feel paralyzed in your chair.
Question 6. Which scenario perfectly illustrates the meaning of the phrase vested interest contextually? Option A, The formal clothing tailor carefully added a beautiful inner pocket inside his vested interest.
Oh, my
Right.
goodness.
Option B, our regional project coordinator possessed a clear vested interest in securing that developmental funding. Or option C, the incredibly clumsy hotel maintenance worker accidentally managed to completely drop that red crest. Feel free to pause the stream here if you need to think about the answer.
The correct answer is option B. You have to ignore the literal clothing trap in option A. Having a vested interest means having personal skin in the game. The coordinator wants the developmental funding because their own success and resources depend directly on it.
Question 7. Which sentence accurately utilizes the advanced phrase put a stop to figuratively? Option A, senior executive management stepped in immediately to permanently put a stop to this behavior.
Solid option.
Right. Option B, the bus driver carefully pressed the heavy mechanical brake pedal, putting a stop to. And option C, the deeply confused young kitchen assistant accidentally managed to quickly slice a fresh chop to. Take a brief pause here if you need a little more time.
And the correct answer is option A. This perfectly captures the nuance of authoritative intervention. Management didn't just ask for a pause, they used their absolute power to definitively and permanently end an activity.
All right, last one. Question 8. Which of the following statements correctly uses keep your head figuratively? Option A, the professional medical protection safety helmet will completely guard and keep your head safe.
Oh, classic literal misdirection.
Exactly. Option B, during that highly chaotic software database crash, our lead technical systems developer kept his head. Or option C, the completely confused amateur artist unexpectedly managed to beautifully paint a giant yellow bed. Feel free to pause the audio one last time to make your final choice.
The correct answer is option B. Just like the technology failure scenario we examined earlier, keeping your head means actively fighting against the surrounding panic, to stay remarkably calm and rational amidst total chaos.
Wow, and that brings us to the end of our vocabulary journey today. You survived the quiz, and hopefully, you've added some serious firepower to your lexicon.
It's been a great session. But before we sign off, I actually want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Well, learning advanced vocabulary like this isn't just about trying to sound smarter to your boss or trying to trick an IELTS examiner into giving you a higher band score. The words we choose actually shape how we perceive our own reality.
That's deep. So how does that practically apply to you, the listener, tomorrow morning at work?
Just think about the psychological framing. When you actively categorize a stressful technology failure, not as a sheer disaster, but as a defining opportunity to keep your head, you literally physically change your posture.
Yeah, you become the hero of the moment, like we said.
Exactly. And when you reframe an exhausting late-night shift, not as corporate torture, but as dedicating yourself to the small hours, you add a layer of nobility to your own effort.
Wow.
You actually change your own emotional relationship to the events in your life. Language isn't just a basic tool for transmitting data. It is the ultimate psychological lens through which you experience the world.
Yeah.
So ask yourself today, what kind of lens are your words creating?